Yo, what's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Tony West, man. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't already, like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you're new to the channel, appreciate you, man, and enjoy the journey with us, man. So today, I'm doing it's not really a challenge, it's more so like a comparison. If you guys don't know me, I have on a Charlotte Hornets hat and an Atlanta Trae Young jersey on. Today, what I'll be doing is comparing Atlanta and Charlotte and what is better for people that are looking to move maybe after this pandemic ends and they want to move to a new city. Maybe they live in a smaller city, anywhere in the country. I'm basically going to be giving a comparison between these two cities, and maybe they might want to move to one of these cities. I lived in Charlotte for, like I said, like 19 years of my life. So basically the majority of my life I lived in Charlotte, and I moved to Atlanta about 7 months ago. So today I'll be kind of giving you guys some stats and some facts, and then also my own personal opinion as well. So I'll start off talking about Atlanta first. Since I'm from Charlotte, I know Charlotte, I can basically do that on the back of my hand. So Atlanta has a population of about 500,000. Now that's the actual city. Let me remind you guys, that's the actual city of Atlanta. A lot of people say, I'm from Atlanta, I live in Atlanta, and they live in Marietta. Like Atlanta's kind of weird because there's a lot of little sub-cities right around Atlanta, and people just claim Atlanta because that's what everybody would know. So Atlanta has about 500,000 people actually within the city limits of Atlanta. The metro population is about 6 million people, which makes it about the 9th biggest city in the country. Now, when I was talking about the metropolitan area, you got to think about places like Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, College Park. I'm trying to think of places over there on the south side because I live on the north side of Atlanta. The Gwinnett County area, places like that. Tucker, even Decatur is not considered technically Atlanta. These are sub-cities that are all around Atlanta. So that makes up the whole population. So if you hear a person that lives in like Cobb County claiming Atlanta, it's because the metro area, everybody around here doesn't want to make things difficult on you and explaining where they live. They basically just tell you, I live in Atlanta, because it's too hard to explain. So Atlanta is actually split up into 2 counties. So half of Atlanta, I'll say like 75% of Atlanta is in Fulton County, and the other, percentage of that, 25 to 30% of that is DeKalb County. So DeKalb County gets a little portion of it, and then the rest of that is like Decatur, Tucker, basically the whole east side. And then, like I said, the majority of it is from Fulton County up to about right at Sandy Springs, all the way down to about College Park is considered Atlanta, like the actual city limits. So let me tell you some of the pros about living in Atlanta. I'll hit you with the number one pro, the entertainment. There's always something to do here. There's always something. There's never a time where you can say, I don't have anything to do. There's always something to do here. There's a lot of entertainment opportunities out here, and it's a lot of entertainment, period. A lot of movies are filmed here, things such as that. So if you're in the entertainment business, or even just like to be entertained and like going out, you would love Atlanta. Also, if you guys want to be entrepreneurs, Atlanta is a great place for that, because that's basically all that lives here. There's not a lot of people that work jobs. There are, but most people here have like some type of side hustle or some type of their own thing to revenue their own type of money. So that's also something, if you're an entrepreneur, I would highly suggest Atlanta for you. Also as well, culture. There is a lot of culture here in Atlanta. Obviously you guys know about the hip hop scene here. It's a when you talk to people from Atlanta and have been here their whole life, they're proud to be from Atlanta, and they'll let you know it gladly and loudly that they're happy to be from here. Culture is a big thing here in Atlanta. Job opportunities. There are a lot of corporate offices here. The CDC is here, as y'all know, as we're dealing with this pandemic. Some of the IRS, place. I know the main one is in Washington, D.C., but a lot of the IRS places are here in Atlanta as well. We're home to SunTrust, or Truist now. So there's a lot of Home Depot. There's so many racetrack. I can keep going. There's a lot of corporate entities here. So if you're into like the corporate world and you need a corporate job, Atlanta would be a very good place for you. Now, also as well, the nightlife here. Really the most, I haven't been going to the club type person, but if you are into that type of stuff and partying and lounges and all that, you'll love Atlanta because that's all that's here. And then also as well, colleges. There's a lot of HBCUs here, and there's a lot of colleges here, period, in the city of Atlanta. You have good Georgia Tech, obviously, right down in Atlanta, Atlanta Clark, all those colleges, Morehouse, Spelman. There's a lot of colleges here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. So colleges is one thing also as well that you would want to, possibly put in there if that's something that you may want to do on your future and whatever the case may be. So let's get into the cons of living in Atlanta. I'm going to tell you now, man, you already know what number one is. The traffic. I've enjoyed this pandemic, and not I've enjoyed it or anything like that, but the one thing I have enjoyed is you can get around Atlanta with no problem. Atlanta has been completely breeze to drive through over the last month and a half because of this pandemic. The traffic here is bad. It's not a joke. And it's bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. Also as well, the crime in the actual city of Atlanta is bad. Because a lot of people don't know that Atlanta is there's a lot of, what's the way I can say this in the most politically correct way? There's a lot of gentrification going on in Atlanta, okay? Let's just cut the crap. There's a lot of gentrification going on, and that's causing a lot of crime as well in the city of Atlanta. So yeah, I mean that the crime here is kind of bad, but I mean it's kind of like that's kind of how it is in bigger cities. There's gonna be more crime, so crime is a thing that you want to look out for. I will be honest, oversaturation and overpopulation of people, that is a fact, a problem here in Atlanta. There is a lot of people. And it is a little bit overpopulated. I will be honest. I think it is a little overpopulated. Also as well, if you're not into like the LA limelife type situation, I would not suggest you to live in Atlanta because a lot of people here think they're somebody and they're nobody. So yeah, that's also something that you want to take in consideration as well. Transportation is another one. I know we just talked about, being able to be stuck in traffic here and things like that. But, MARTA, yes, is a great form of transportation, but Atlanta could do better on the transportation, especially with this place being so overpopulated. So that's my pros and cons about Atlanta. I want you guys to take that for what it is. Now, I want to go over to my hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina. So, population in Charlotte, you're looking at around about 800,000 within the city. Now, the metro population area is around 2.8 million. Now, the metro population area in Charlotte would be Gastonia, Rock Hill, things right outside of Charlotte. It's not like Atlanta, though, to where it's a bunch of little sub-cities. There's only like maybe 5 or 6. You would say Gastonia, Mint Hill, Matthews area, parts of Union County, Cabarrus County, and that's about it. Like everything else is just, Charlotte is mostly the city limits. Like there's no really like outskirts that are considered Charlotte like it is here in Atlanta. But they have, like I said, about 2.8 million people in the metro population area, which makes them the 16th biggest city in the country. The county there is Mecklenburg County. There's no other county that is considered Charlotte like here in Atlanta, whereas DeKalb and Fulton. It's just Mecklenburg. That's it. Now, let's talk about the pros of living in Charlotte. Me growing up in Charlotte, I already know it's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. A lot of young millennials, young millennials that are like IT jobs and things such as that, banking jobs. That's the next pro on here is if you're in any type of financial institution, if you have experience in like banking of any type, Charlotte may be a place for you because Wells Fargo, that's their second corporate offices in Charlotte, and also as well, Bank of America's head corporate offices in Charlotte. So if you're into banking, Charlotte is probably the best place for you to be. If you're like, in the banking or want to get into the financial services part of things, Charlotte's going to be the place you probably want to be because Charlotte, last time I checked, had the second best banking industry in the country besides New York City. So definitely, if you're into banking and stuff like that, Charlotte might be the route for you. Also as well, the cost of living here is pretty cheap. And actually, you can put that on for Atlanta too. For Atlanta to be a big city, the cost of living is pretty cheap. In Charlotte, if you don't want bullets flying over your head, you're gonna pay about a little bit over $1,000 a month in rent. Anything lower than that, I can't tell you what's gonna happen. All right, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm from Charlotte, so I know you need to be paying about $1,000 worth a month, maybe a little bit more actually, maybe like $1,050 to be in a safe area in Charlotte, in my personal opinion. Charlotte is also more family oriented. If you want to raise a family, I would suggest Charlotte over Atlanta. Like, Atlanta's more for like single, young, entrepreneurs, But if you have a young family, I would highly suggest living in Charlotte, because I feel like Charlotte is more family oriented than Atlanta, Georgia. Also as well, colleges. There's a lot of colleges in the Charlotte metro area too as well. Obviously, UNC Charlotte, Johnson Wells, Queens, a lot of colleges and universities in the Charlotte area, and really in North Carolina, period. There's a lot of universities there. So that's also something else you want to take into advantage. And then also as well, last thing but not least, to me, it's kind of like Atlanta Junior. Charlotte is very similar to Atlanta, but a little bit more chill and laid back. So if you're more like a chill and laid back person, you're probably going to want to be in Charlotte more than you are in Atlanta. Charlotte is more like laid back, kind of relaxed type situation. Also, another pro for Charlotte is it's literally in the heart of the South. It's literally in the middle of the South. Like, you can get to the Northeast in 6 hours past DC. You can also be 6 hours away from Alabama in the heart of the South. Like, Charlotte is kind of, in a way, perfectly geographically located, because you can be, in DC in 6 hours. You can be in Florida in 6 to 8 hours, or really 5 hours if you get to Jacksonville. So also, location is something else that you might want to consider. You have family in the Northeast, and you don't want to be too far down south, like here in Georgia, where you're like 11 hours from family that may be in DC, to where in Charlotte, you're only like 6 or 7 hours, whatever the case may be. So definitely consider that as well. Now let's get to the cons of living in Charlotte. So one of the cons of living in Charlotte right now is it is kind of hard to find a job. And this is before the pandemic. It is kind of hard to find a job in Charlotte if it's not financial institutions. It's kind of hard to find. And even in those, you almost have to know somebody to get in. Because that's how I got in my job when I was working at a financial institution in Charlotte. I knew somebody that worked in there, and they got me in, basically. So yeah, that's kind of how that works there. Also as well, the crime is starting to rise in Charlotte, because I think everybody's starting to notice, okay, Charlotte's kind of a good city. So a lot of people are starting to flock to Charlotte. The people that don't want to come to Atlanta because it's too overpopulated, they say, well, I'll settle for Charlotte then. And it's starting to be, once again, the crime is starting to skyrocket up. And they're also having gentrification problems back home in Charlotte as well. So that's another thing that you're taking care of. There are no walkability issues in Charlotte. You cannot walk anywhere. You have to have a car. And it's the same here in Atlanta, because everything is spread out. But it's even worse in Charlotte because, everything is so spread out. Your literally entertainments are downtown Charlotte. That really, there's not, that's another con. That's my next con, is the entertainment in Charlotte is not the greatest. I will be honest. If you're into entertainment, your best bet is going to be downtown Charlotte, uptown Charlotte, whatever they want to call it. There's a few places out in South Park that are pretty all right. There's a few places up towards Mallard Creek, Concord area that are kind of nice, and that have clubs and stuff like that. But Charlotte, nowhere is walkable. You need to have a car in Charlotte. Really, anywhere in the South, you have to have a car. That's just that. Also, as I talked about culture with Atlanta, the lack of culture in Charlotte is, Charlotte is a very new city, and it's growing very fastly. And to me, like I said, I've been living in Charlotte for 19 years, and we just started to kind of get a culture about ourselves, I would say roughly 6 to 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, is when Charlotte started to kind of establish a culture. In the last decade, Charlotte has just now started to kind of establish a culture. It's a very young city. So Charlotte is still trying to establish a culture. I know I did a Charlotte Lingo challenge on one of my old videos, and y'all can go check that out too as well. But we were just kind of establishing a culture not too long before that. So definitely something that you want to also keep in mind too as well. If you want somewhere that the culture is great, you know, I wouldn't suggest Charlotte because it's still growing. It's evolving, but it has a lot of potential to have a great culture. And then last thing but not least, education system in Charlotte is not the best. Trust me, your boy did, you know, all my years of schooling basically in the Charlotte, like the Charlotte metro area. So if you got kids and anything like that, I would highly suggest putting them in private schools in Charlotte. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I would highly suggest putting them in private schools or something like that because the school systems in Charlotte are not the best, and that's just me being completely honest. Rent in Charlotte, you're going to be paying, like I said, a little over $1,000 to not feel endangered. And like I said, utilities, they're about the same as Atlanta, and also as well, groceries are a little bit more expensive in Charlotte than it is here in Atlanta. So that concludes my video, man. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And I thank you guys for coming in. Like I said, like and subscribe like this video and subscribe to this channel, man. I really do appreciate you guys. See ya.